Okay. Hello, interwebs. I am Toni Craft. I have a bit of frog in my throat today, so please excuse my scratchy voice. And I'm going to be playing with Polymer Clay today. I'm running a little bit late, so I'm still sort of grabbing all my stuff. Ooh. I don't really know what I'm working on today. I just feel like getting my hands in some clay, so I'm going to do that. Sorry if this crinkling is loud in the microphone. Oh, there's some blue. I knew I had blue last time I live streamed. Just couldn't find it. I don't know where my paper towels went. Just trying to wash my Sculpey bezels and cabochon mold to get some of the glitter from last time I used it off. I'll tell you what, some of this glitter seems like it's here to stay. Doesn't seem willing to come off. That's okay. Got one watcher. Hello, watcher. I'm just working with polymer clay today. Probably making jewelry. I may work a little bit on the miniature house that I was working on in my last stream. We'll just see where the clay takes us. I almost missed today's stream, which is why I'm wearing glasses. I was running a little late. Hi, Monica from Australia. Monica is chatting over on YouTube. And it is approximately 1 in the morning there, or 2 in the morning there, if I'm remembering correctly. She stays up late. I am in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States, and it is 11 a.m. on Thursday. For Monica, it's Friday. Monica says I have a good memory. I really don't. It's only because I was excited to have someone from Australia that I remember. I apologize for clearing my throat every 2 seconds. I think the allergies are getting me because, like we talked about last time, it is spring here in Atlanta. It is not spring up north in the United States, but down south we are seeing everything bloom and blossom, and the trees are starting to bud and everything. So it's been a little bit allergy-ish. Yes, Monica. Cross-world besties. 2 different days. I don't really know what I'm doing today. I just kind of want to make... I've never tried these donut shapes before. Is that in camera? This way. I've never tried these donut shapes before in this mold. So I kind of wanted to do that and then have like, what do they call that? It's not called rope. Like the leather strands, just kind of holding on there. Then once I'm done with that, I don't know. Oh, and then you know what else? Someone suggested, I think on one of my videos, to try the powdered pigments that I have with black clay because it would look really striking. So maybe we'll try to make some of those too. We'll see. Most of this clay is clay that I've already conditioned once, or some of it is anyway. Just need to heat it back up. So tomorrow, I just heard that the American Craft Council, which is it's a big group, they put out a magazine and stuff on all different kinds of craft. They have a juried exhibit going on in Atlanta tomorrow and this whole weekend. So I'm gonna try to go in tomorrow and take some video, if they'll let me. I mean, I'm not gonna ask for permission. I'm just gonna take video until they say I can't. Hello, XL over on Twitch. Okay, you can lurk. He says he's working his butt off, so I might not talk a lot, but I'm lurking. Lurk away. Monica says she wants to start polymer clay, but is just continuing with my mochila, which is a type of crochet bag, I believe she said. And I never looked it up. I'll have to look it up still. Well, Monica, I think you said that are you the person who said that their wrists get sore? So I'll tell you what, polymer clay is not easy on your wrists and hands. Although the pasta roller really helps. Which I'm not using today because I don't like to use it on camera because it's loud. I mean, it's not loud, it's just, I don't know, obnoxious, I guess. Hello, Xtrain. Am I saying it right? Over on Twitch. Says, what are you making? I am playing with Polymer Clay today, and I'm working on working with a Sculpey mold that's for bezels. Bezels and cabochons. So I just thought I'd play around because I've really only used this mold once, and so I haven't really played with it all that much. I guess the X-Rain person on Twitch could also be Z-Rain. Or Ch, if you're in Mexico. Chirain. You have to tell me. Z-Rain. Okay. Is that why? I probably didn't even say that one. Z-Rain. Z-Rain. Where do I get my molds from? Monica asked on YouTube. I think I ordered these ones from Amazon. And I want to say at craft stores they usually have this one, but not the bezel one. So I ordered them as like a pack. They're kind of expensive though, which is why I never buy molds. This is the only one I have. Tell you what, this one's hard. Not want to lay out. Oh, sorry for the shaking. I'm rolling it out a bit because you may be able to see in this one there's bubbles come to the surface, just like when you're working with most clays and ceramics and stuff. You will get hidden bubbles in there. So it's best if you roll things out before you try to make something, so you can try to eliminate as many bubbles as you can before you get started. Switch to big hands for a bit. Rain, if you look at my profile, I have listed all the equipment that I use. Don't make me remember it off the top of my head. I know my big camera on my face is a Lumix. My down camera is a Logitech webcam, which I would love to replace because I feel like the quality's not that good. And my microphone is a blue ball microphone, I think it's called. I think it's no good. The reason why you have to warm up polymer clay and get it to a pliable point is because the polymers, which it gets its name from, polymer clay, when they're warmed and flattened and stuff, you're basically stretching out the polymers. And so when it's not stretched out, you can see it'll break really easy. But when it's nice and stretched out, it stretches and stuff. So that's the reason. Although sometimes these clays feel like they're never going to warm up. This pink one feels hard as a rock. Monica over on YouTube asked, could polymer clay be cured in a toaster oven? Yes, that's actually what I use down here in my little studio. I just have a, like the kind of toaster oven you would bake, you know, pizzas in or whatever. And really you only need, most polymer clays only need to be heated up to like 275. I guess. Yeah, I think 275. So you really only need something that gets that hot. And they actually sell ovens that are specifically branded for clay, but I don't imagine there's any actual difference between that and a toaster oven. So Zerain on Twitch, what do you do any crafty stuff? Are you a fellow creative? Oh, Monica says, awesome, I live in a tiny house and I don't have an oven or stove. Yep, you can definitely use a toaster oven. You're in luck. Although you may want to get a separate toaster oven if you cook food in yours. You may want to get a separate one for your clay. Not that it's toxic, but it does put off some amount of fumes and stuff. Hi Tisha, over on YouTube. Thanks for coming back another day. How are you doing? God, this pink is killing me. It does not want to soften up. Tisha, remind me, you said you were in Arizona last time? Somewhere around there? So this right here is a translucent clay, which is really fun to work with. So this is a white translucent. And they make a white translucent because a lot of the translucents, once they cure, they come out sort of yellowy. So it's pretty amazing because it looks totally solid, right? You can't see through it or anything. But when it cures, it becomes translucent. It's pretty cool. Tisha says, paying is craft today. What does that mean? Oh, painting today is your craft. That's nice. What kind of painting are you doing? All right, let's see. Oh, you're painting on wood? Are you, is it like a scenery or are you making furniture? So what do you guys think? Should we make... Should I make a, what's that called? Like a big piece with patterns and stuff and then put them in here? Or should we just do it Wild West style? Monica says, have you ever tried making clay on the stovetop? Just wondered if it really works. I have not, but I live in a perfect area to make my own clay. In Georgia, we have red clay everywhere. It's just in our ground, in our yard. And it's really easy to process it and turn it into real clay. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll try that this summer. That'd be a fun video. Tisha says she's working with acrylic paint. Nice. I used to be big into acrylics when I was young. I don't use them so much anymore. Oh, Tisha says she's painting a letterwood H, and I'm painting it yellow. Let's make a slab. Slabs are more fun. Yellow and white glitter on it. I need to buy some glitter. I feel like glitter's so expensive for what it is, so I never buy it. I'm always like, oh, I don't want to spend $6 on a bottle of glitter. Although sometimes they have some at the dollar store, the little packets. Monica says she saw some videos making clay using cornstarch and acrylic paint. And I imagine it's air dryable. That could probably work. It's probably pretty crumbly though, I imagine. Tisha says, yes, little packets are not enough for me. I know. That's why I'm always out. Tisha, what kind of clay am I working with? I am working with polymer clay. Which is a bake to cure clay. So you have to bake it or else it never gets hard. It barely dries out, which is nice. You don't have to keep it in tight containers or anything. But it does get old. I can't find any of my circle cutters. Oh, Monica, and glue? Yeah, I mean, that sort of sounds like how you make, like slime. Oh, one in there. Was just gonna do something simple today, but why not make it crazy? Why not? I feel like I need to wash all my tools. They're all feeling sticky. Everything feels sticky today. Monica over on YouTube says, yes, it was hardened. She was able to sculpt with it as well. That's really interesting. I'll have to look that up. I mean, it sounds easy enough to make. That's a good idea for a video. I could try all the different ways that are on YouTube of making your own clay. See which ones come out the best. think I'm gonna have to replace some of my circle cutters because I feel like every time I do a video I can never find them all. That is a pain in the butt. If I do a video like that, I would have to come up with a way to quantify everything. Like how well does it hold detail? How fast does it dry? How long does it take to make? That kind of stuff. Last night, I had nightmares, which was weird, because they were totally like horror thriller movie nightmares, which I do not usually have. Usually, if I have bad dreams, it's just like stress dreams. But these were like straight up like a movie. Creepy. Let's see. Starting to look cool. Like my hands are shaky today. All right, let's get some more of the transparent in there. We Tisha says, what are you making? I am, I guess, making a slab to then use in this mold. I was just gonna press clay in there, maybe make a marbleized something, but then once I sat down and saw my color palette, I kind of wanted to make something a little more intentional. So eventually, this will all be jewelry. But first, it's just a slab. Monica says, it looks interesting. Thank you. Yeah, when working with doing it like this, like making slabs, is fun because you really don't know what the finished product is going to look like. You can only kind of guess. Because once these are done and rolled out and all that, and then I don't know, it kind of takes on its own life, I guess, which is cool. Monica asks over on YouTube, do I sell my creations? I do, slowly. I have an Etsy shop. If you look up tonicraftshow, just like everywhere else, you will find me. And I also occasionally sell stuff on my own website, which is tonicraftshow.com. And then I also sometimes do like craft shows. I haven't been doing any since the end of the holiday season. I was totally out of everything that I make. So I didn't have enough stuff, and then I kind of put my focus back onto making videos. Because it takes a lot of work to do those shows, and takes up time. But it is fun. It's fun to get out there and do stuff. Oh, Monica says, did I finish the blanket from the other day? Loved the colors you used. I'm still working on it, little by little. And I don't know how long it's going to take to finish it. It might take a while, but it's getting there. I don't know why I made it so long. It feels very long now that I'm trying to make the width. Hello, Janine, over on YouTube. Thank you for stopping by again. We are just playing with clay, making some slabs, and then I'm going to use my Sculpey cabochon mold, which I haven't played with too much. I've really only used it once. And the way I used it last time was I just sort of marbleized my clay and pushed it in. So we're going to see if we can do it with slabs. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, I was going to heat this up and use some more of it. Janine says she hasn't worked with clay at all yet. One day you will. I feel like clay is one of the more fun mediums because, I mean, for me anyway, I know a lot of people are way more exact, but for me it feels very fluid, you know? You can play and play and play with it. And even, you know, even when I have these big ugly balls of scrap clay that look like they're never going to be anything good, I can still eke out cool things from them, which I think is incredible. Hello, Deja. Am I saying it right? Deja over on YouTube. She says she's from Iowa and she's a polymer clay artist too. Well, welcome. What do you do with your polymer clay? Deja says, jewelry and dolls mostly. I sell at local markets and stuff. Cool. I've always wanted to try dolls. You do the polymer clay faces. There's some, man, there are some amazing doll makers out there. Maybe you are one of them. Janine says, how much money do you think it might cost to get polymer clay essentials to start? You can start pretty cheaply. You know, like what you really need to start is a roller like this, a cutter like this, like a tissue blade cutter, and then clay. Everything else is sort of, you know, you buy it as you need it. I use glaze pretty frequently. And then once you get into it, you'll want to buy, you know, different tools and stuff like my circle cutters and my shapes and stuff. Asia says she sculpts her own faces. That's awesome. Okay, let's see if we can pull this up. Because really, you don't need molds or anything. I mean, you know, like I said, I've hardly even tried using these. You can start out with pretty much anything, and they make those cheap like starter packs, which are sort of, you know, for kids or whatever. But to start out with. Janine says, have I worked with resin? Yes, I do work with resin. I just started working with UV resin, which I'm a little late to that game. I was using a 2-part resin for the past couple years, but I recently, I'm just getting through my first bottle of UV resin, and I am in love with UV resin. It is so much easier than 2-part resin. There's no mixing, there's no waiting, it's all just very quick, which I love. And so far I have not seen any real difference in, you know, finished quality or clarity or anything. I mean, in fact, it has, the UV resin has less bubbles and less imperfections, so I would say it's worth it. And I just have a little UV nail light, you know, like they have in salons, and that only cost me $12 or something. So if you can get UV resin and you want to try resin, I highly suggest it. Because 2-part resin, you know, you have to wait 48 hours. For it to cure. But one of my favorite things to do is to combine clay and resin in my jewelry. So I like to create the color and texture and all that with my clay and create a pendant and then cover it in resin. And that way you're sort of like looking into this window of depth with the clay, which is really nice. And Janine, if you look on my YouTube, I have a resin playlist, and you'll see that all my older videos I'm using a 2-part, and then in my new ones it's all UV. And I avoided UV resin for so long because I thought that it would be an expensive setup, but it really wasn't. It's actually ended up being cheaper than going with 2-part. Unfortunately, it seems like you can only buy UV resin online. You can't really get it in stores. Not here in the States anyway. Maybe in Japan where it's big. Oops, sorry for the shaking. So now that I have these attached to bases, I'm just going to go around and kind of fill in any holes, which you don't necessarily have to do. I mean, it kind of makes nice texture, but there's some that are glaring. Tisha says, I buy epoxy from Amazon. Yeah, that's where I was getting mine too. It's funny on camera, this yellow looks like a plain yellow, but in person it's like a neon yellow. Tisha, remind me, what are you making with resin? I don't know if we talked about that last time. Janine, yeah, shipping might be an issue, yeah. Although you can sometimes find 2-part epoxy in hardwood stores. What are they called? Hardware. Hardware stores. That still doesn't sound right. Hardware stores? Like Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff? Because people use them to like epoxy their floors and stuff, or the tops of tables. I don't know, my table is so shaky today. Oh, Monica, okay. Have a good night. Thank you for stopping by before you go to bed. Say hi to Australia for us. Oh, Tisha, you're making jewelry with resin. Do you do that like secret wood type of jewelry? Sorry guys, I have to get up for 1 second. I need to get my texture plate. And I'm back. Oh, using silicone molds, that's cool. There's so many cool silicone molds out there. I'm just taking a what is this called? A stencil, and squishing it into the clay so it's only exposed where the opening of the stencil is, and then I'm going to use a little bit of powdered pigment to create a pattern on there. And of course I don't have my powdered pigment out. Please hold again. Okay. What color do you guys think will pop with this? Let's try a blue. Now with this stuff, people use this stuff for soaps, bath bombs, stuff like that. You can just put it on with your finger. You can sort of build it up, and it's very shimmery. Okay, and then when we peel it off, there we go. Fish scale pattern on that one. Try a mint on this one. Janine says that's a lovely effect, and Tisha says pretty. Yes, I know. I was really pleased when I first did this. Started first playing around with stencils and this stuff for a video maybe like 2 months ago or a month ago, where I was just trying to find new ways to use stencils that weren't, you know, painting. This is one of the things that worked out really, really well. So this mint is nice because it's a little more translucent than the darker blue. You can still see the color changes underneath it, which is nice. These are looking very 80s. 80s, 90s. All right, so let's see. Now the flat, because they're flat, they don't really necessarily go well with the mold. But what I think I can do is cut out, if I'm going to use these donuts ones, I think what I can do is cut out a circular piece that's bigger than the donut, and then squash it in, and then use a different, you know, just a filler clay to fill in the dimension part of it. I'm going to put a little bit of texture on this one too. All right, let's see. So then this is the fun part, finding where it looks best to cut it. I think I like one of those. Okay. Oh, and you know what? Because it's a donut, I need to cut a little hole in the center. Let's do that. We're going to flip it that way. I'm just going to make this hole a little bit bigger so it goes around. And the kind of cool thing about this is that we're not really going to know what it's looking like in there and how it's stretched until we pull it out. We may have enough material here to fill it in anyway. And then I'm just going to use my tissue blade, cut off the excess there. Sometimes this can be a pain in the butt because it pulls away from the edges. If you guys want to see what these end up looking like, follow me on Instagram, because that's where I usually put works in progress and finished things and stuff like that. Okay, I think that one's good. And this white, for anyone who joined late, this white is actually going to turn translucent, which will be interesting to see how that plays. One unfortunate thing about using slabs like this in a mold is that we're going to lose some of our texture, or all of it really, because it's going to be molded in, but hopefully the effect will still be cool. Oops. Janine, I'm glad it's relaxing to watch. It's relaxing to do. And actually, since most of the chatters today are from YouTube, I'll update my community tab with pictures of what these look like when they come out. Oops. I've never used the donut mold portion of this. Alright. I guess we might as well do more. Let's just keep going. Oops. Need to be careful because this is a new tissue blade and it is sharp. Cut myself the second I opened the package. I'm just using these little scraps from when I tissue blade the tops to fill in that extra space that we need. This can all be sanded down after baking too. It doesn't have to be exact, but in my opinion, if you can save yourself from sanding, it's always better. Because sanding takes a while and it's a pain in the butt. The dust gets everywhere. So let's sort of combine these guys. Now it's gonna get real crazy looking. Gotta get this blue off my hands. I'm getting blue smudges everywhere. So Janine over on YouTube says, yes, please. I haven't created an Instagram account yet and would love to see them. And I believe she's referring to me saying that I would put these up on my community tab on YouTube. And I will do that. No problem. Kind of forget about that tab all the time. This over and roll it there. Uh-oh. This one got pretty dirty doing that. But who knows? Maybe it'll be an interesting effect because so we got some powdered pigment leftovers from my paper on what's going to be translucent. So who knows? Maybe it'll actually end up looking cool. We'll have to find out. Oops. Let's shove one into the triangle mold. The triangle mold is one of the ones that I couldn't clean the glitter out of. This particular shape seems to like to pull away from the edge quite a bit. Let's do a couple frames, a couple of the bezels. So we have the big, the middle, but we don't really want the donuts to go in bezels because that doesn't make sense, but these solid ones can. And then the triangle. The donuts, I think, will be unframed so that we can use the center hole as a place to tie our leather or whatever. So the bezel mold is a little bit different because we need, basically we need to have this edge go in deeper, but then there's still going to be something on top because that's when they're flipped over, that's going to be where the cabochons that we've made are going to sit. So we're going to stick this in. I'm just pushing clay down into that ditch, basically. Ah. Get back in there. That one pulls away from the edge quite a bit, so maybe I'll just sand that one. Circle one does not want to stay in its home. So I can do that one. Oh, that wasn't big enough. Oops. Well, now I messed it up. So polymer clay, when it cures in the oven, it gets darker. So almost all colors will get darker. So that's something to remember when if you're going for a really specific color palette, you're definitely going to want to buy colors that are lighter than what you want them to be after they've been cooked. So like this black right now looks sort of gray, but it'll darken up to a true black. Alright, let's do one more. Let's do... I've never done one of these teardrops. Maybe I can fit a teardrop. No, I don't think I can. We'll just do the little circle. Tisha is back. Hello, Tisha. Okay, and then we'll do the little frame for that one. Let's see. Maybe I'll just sort of wing this one. Thank you, Tisha. She says they're looking good. Can't wait to see what they look like on the other side. Alright, I guess we're ready to cook these guys. So what I might do, since some of these are going to have frames, what I might do is cook these for like half of the time. So I usually do 275 for 25 minutes, about there. So what I might do is just 10 minutes at first, pull them all out of the molds, and use a clay glue on the ones that have frames to glue them together and stick them back in the oven. That might be the best way to do it, because the clay glue works really, really well if it's baked. And then also the ones that have the frames, I could do it again for 10 minutes, pull them out, and then put, what are those called? Like something for the necklace to hang on the frame. A bail. You can make a bail and do that. I'm just going through and kind of haphazardly filling some of these in. We'll take a risk. often what I do when I make slabs like this is whatever I have left over I keep, and then I just incorporate it into the next slab. Or the next whatever I'm making. Okay, one more. I can't stop. We did a little teardrop, so let's make a little teardrop frame. Oops, shoot. Hard to get these straight once you're butting up against another one. Okay. Whew. All right, guys. I think that is it for today. So I'm gonna cook these. I'll cook these right now, and I will put some pictures. You know, it won't be finished jewelry, but I'll take pictures of the pieces when they pop out. I'll put that on probably my Instagram stories and on YouTube on my community tab. So if you want to see that, keep your eye out for that. And thank you guys all so much for coming, especially those of you who have come back multiple times. It is awesome, and I'm excited to meet you guys and get to know you guys. All right, so I hope that you guys have an awesome weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.